Guys, we're here with Cairo, who topped the core TCG Dallas Regionals, and we're going to do a deck profile with them.
Yep.
So, can you go over what you played and, how'd the event go overall?
So I spent like 2 weeks trying to figure out what I wanted to play, and I was going to do U7 Frieza, and then I psyched myself out in the last minute and decided to play Hercule.
So, what made you switch to Hercule? Was there a specific reason?
Yeah, I just lost to Storm. I was worried about the Hercule matchup. I had heard that it was going to be, fairly straightforward, but I knew they were teching for it. And I wasn't comfortable with the amount of losses I was getting. And I wasn't as experienced piloting it, so I figured I'd go with something that has a pretty strong matchup against most of the other meta decks. And the list that I got had teched for U7, so I felt like I'd be able to handle that fairly well.
All right.
And I'm glad I did. I ended up getting 19th place. That was my first ever regional for this game, and there was 200 plus players. So yeah, I was happy with my performance. It ended up working out pretty nicely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go on to the deck profile.
So everybody already knows Hercule by this point. If you don't, it's very easy to figure him out. The thing that people don't like, the 5K, 10K, but his ability is just crazy. Activate battle. If you have a combo card in your combo area when you're battling with him, that doesn't matter if it's your turn, their turn, you get to draw a card. So everything in your deck basically is a draw one, except for your extra cards, obviously, that can't be comboed. So he has massive hand advantage. He's really good at building a gigantic hand. He can pretty much out-combo anything. And then on the flip side, same thing. Activate battle once per turn. He just gains a 5K. And then the nice thing is that when he attacks, he draws a card. So that's like 2 guaranteed cards on your turn if you combo. So yeah, Hercule. I got this list from Matthew Coombs. I already tagged him, shouted him out. I had seen the other list that people were doing previously, Peter Katani and a lot of the other ones, Pat O'Neill, the guys that had topped at the last events. And I kind of was going to go with their version, but after seeing the Patreon post from Coombs and the text that he put into it, I felt like it would be a little bit more of a solid thing. So his list, all credit goes to him. We start off with the basics for Zeno button. It just lets you have that extra combo power on your turn. Every game, this thing came in clutch for me. Battering Laser obviously stops it. A lot of people know to do that. But on the matchups where they're not running yellow, you're pretty much guaranteed to get this off when you need it. Resends all your blue energy. Super good. Another must-have in pretty much any deck right now is Sensu Bean. I don't think I really need to explain what that does. Gives you 5 extra power, 5K extra power during your battle step. We get to our first World Tournament cards. We have 3 of the Awakening Talent Pan. This is our Self-Awakener in this deck. 1 blue energy, built-in flute effect at the end of the turn, so it's really hard for your opponent to stop you from Self-Awakening. It's really good in the U7 matchup, absolutely necessary in the U7 matchup. If you don't have this in the beginning, you lose. And that's exactly what happened to me in my 1 U7 match. I couldn't draw into a pan on the first game. By the time I did, it was just too late. So 3 of these. You don't need 4. I know some decks were maxing out of 4. 3 is fine, because once you awaken, you don't need it anymore. It's good blue energy, and it's a good 5K combo. I ran a 2-2 of the Awkward Situation Trunks and the Awkward Situation Otakotsuki. Play him. If you don't have Otakotsuki on the field, he comes out for free. You get 3 free attacks, basically, because you swing with this, use Trunks effect to send it to the bottom of the deck, and then you can KO anything on the field as long as it doesn't have barrier. And then you can play another one in that same turn. So it's really good at applying pressure, good 5K combos. It's blue energy if you need it, and it's removal. It's one of the only ways of removal you have, aside from some other cards we'll get to later. This actually won me a game. I think it was in my round 7 matchup against a Storm player. When I get to my match breakdown, I kind of go over that. But man, it came in clutch. So highly recommend that. This is the first tech that we have. 2 Unyielding Defender, E Supreme Kai. Barrier Blocker 5K blue. U7. That's exactly what it's there for. I run 2, have another one in the side deck. That came in against U7. Unfortunately, he was main boarding the 5-drop Frieza, so I couldn't really do anything about it. It was also good against, the mirror when they kind of come down with their Mira. They can't get rid of it. And most of the time it was just blue energy, and it was added 5k power. We get to the Goku Oob combo. 3 drop, 2 blue. Pretty much everybody knows what this card does at this point. You bring him out, he can bring an Oob out. When you bring Oob out, you can choose 2 of your opponent's cards, and they're 20k or less. As long as they don't have barrier, send them to the bottom of the deck. That in combination with this is good removal. This deck has a lot of like niche techs here and there to kind of get rid of things on your opponent's side. It also gets critical. They buff each other by 5k, and this is a double striker. So that's 20k, 20k, crit. You can go in with the double strike Kai and put early pressure on. I did that in some of my matches. I played this out, swung, got a good double strike crit going, and it just gives you that tempo that you need. 2 at all cost Vegeta. This card is amazing. It's another self-awakening tool. If you don't have access to your pan, it's a little later. He basically comes out for 3. Draws you a card, and when you can fulfill the conditions to go for triple strike, especially after you side in your battering lasers and your yellow package, if they're 3 life, you can pretty much win the game, because Hercule has such a massive hand. You play this, you blow up a blocker or anything else, and you just swing. They try to negate it, you battering it, and you just toss your entire hand in it, and it's pretty much game. I won one of my games that way. There was a couple other games where I tried to go for it. You know, they negated it is what it is. After that, we go into our blacks. So we have 3 announcer ever curious, and then we have 4 announcer play-by-play pros. This is pretty standard. This is your top 7 searcher for World Tournament. This is your negate for World Tournament, and if you have 2 other World Tournament cards on the field, you play this, you draw 2 cards. It's really good to play after you've played this combo or that combo, because you're guaranteed to get 2 on board at once for the same price. Another thing with Hercule, it's really important to have these black cards, especially these little weenie ones, because they're 5k combos. You play it, you combo, you draw a card, so they filter themselves. And for Demigra, obviously, you know, your main win condition, you want to have as many black cards in the deck as you can, so that they can go to the drop. Against players who main board Mass Saiyan, it kind of sucks because they can just, you know, warp it away, but it is what it is. You get them in there. If you don't, then you kind of switch up your tactics. We run 2 Chronoa main board. I don't expect to see Shigesh. There was a couple matches that I saw where people were running Shigesh. There was a Jackie Chun, there was a Galactic Frieza, and then there was a Mecha Frieza. They had Shigesh. I didn't play him, but this is basically free black energy, another card draw, you combo it, you get another card, and just in case they happen to play Shigesh, you got that already. We run 2 Mass Saiyans for the Storm matchup, and let me tell you, that card against the Storm matchup is MVP. The one Storm player I ended up playing against, he got 3 Go-Tens out on turn 2. I had this in hand turn 1. I got rid of both of them, and then on the 3rd one I swung in with leader, and that was 3 of his draw power just gone immediately. This card is great. Yeah, highly recommend it if you're going against, especially against the mirror too, because you want to warp away their black cards. You don't want to get them into the drop. So focus on getting the Mass Saiyan out, warp their cards away, and then, you know, it puts them back. We run 1 minus Killy Zone. That's basically in there for your Demigra when you want to go into it, if you're worried about them Crusher Balling it or Cold Bloodlusting it. But aside from that, it's a free card draw and another black energy into the drop. 2 Mirror Creator Absorbed, MVP, almost every game. That was my win condition. It was kind of hard to get Demigra out most of the time. Other times I didn't feel like I wanted to commit to that. I would pressure them really hard, get them down to 1 or 2 life. You throw the double strike Kai on him if I had it, if I needed it. Nobody's going to out-combo Mirror, except for maybe another Hercule player. But even then, it's nearly impossible. Especially late game when you have like your entire deck in the warp. It's just not going to happen. And there we go. Our big bad boy. Beyond Darkness Demigra. Our super combos, we run yellow because we side into yellow. I highly recommend anybody who plays Hercule do the yellow super combos because you want to side into yellow. Like, that's key to winning your games, game 2 and on. 4 Unbreakables. I don't really need to explain that. Extra combo power, really good early game when you want to get 2 cards and you also want to avoid like a crit or something. I would place an energy, use one of the Unbreakables, and I would survive. And then our last 2 cards is the East Supreme Kai. Double Strike Champa, basically. We run this because it's cheaper. I don't have any red energy. Aside from Unbreakable, I'm never going to actually play this out. It's just a preference. Plus, you can search it out with your announcers. So that's the deck. We ran an extra, Kai, for the U7 matchup again. I did side into this during my U7 game because I wanted to make sure I had one in hand during the first 3 to 4 turns. And siding it in helped. Believe it or not, game 2, I still didn't draw into one of these, even with 3 in the deck. It was just a bad draw. But on game 3, I had 2 of them in hand come turn 2. So, I mean, like I said, it helped put me off for a turn. It's basically all it's there for. I wouldn't say it's necessary. I mean, you're fine with 2. If you can get all 3 on the board, then you're pretty much guaranteed to survive for at least a turn or 2, because the Frieza won't be able to get rid of all of them. But yeah, it's just a one of. It could probably be changed. 3 Mofuba. I think the original sideboard only had 2. I teched in a 3rd again for the U7 matchup. Really good against the mirror matchup. It's good against anything that has really big threat. I mean, you don't want a Mofuba black card because then that means they get to stay on the field. They don't go away at the end of the turn. But if you got to survive a mirror, you got to survive a mirror. Like I don't really know how else to put that. Really good. I don't think I ever sided in all 3. Most of the time I would just do 2, but against the U7 match, I definitely sided all 3. It helped me win game 2 of that round. Another minus Killy zone. This is for U7. This is for the mirror match. If you're going to go with your Demigra, if you're going to go with your... No, it doesn't matter, because mirror already has deflect. Mostly for your Demigra, maybe for your at all cost Vegeta. If you do this, you play your minus Killy zone. They can't crush your bullet. They can't cold bloodlust it. I didn't run into anybody who could cold bloodlust. None of the Frieza leaders there were the old school Frieza leaders. It was just mostly just U7. But this goes in when you maybe need another black to get into the warp. You want another card draw, but it's mostly for your Demigra. This was something I changed from the original sideboard. It was a last-minute tech choice that I made. Let me tell you, man, this Wonfu was clutch. I ended up playing against a Cell player in my round 2, and I threw this in after I sided, and it won me the game. Against the Oob player, it won me the game. I mean, 1 energy, 2 card draw, 25k double strike. I don't know any other black card that does anything even remotely close to what Fu does. It's incredible. Highly recommend having one of those. This is pretty typical for the kind of weekend that we were expecting. 3 Haru Majin attackers. 3 drop. Resets 4 if your energy is yellow or green. So we're talking Jackie-chan, U7 Vegeta, we're talking Mecha Frieza, we're talking Android, Cell, any of those kind of off leaders, aside from U7, obviously that one is to be expected. But anytime I faced one of them, I sided all 3 of these in, and you just put on a massive pressure. You can get all 3 of them out for free, basically. There was one game against Cell, actually, where I overwhelmed the Fu to spend 1 of my energy. I played a Haru to re-stand all 4. I played another Haru, and then I played another Haru, and I had the at all cost in hand, and I played that out. And I had I don't remember, it was something else, but he just basically scooped at that point because all of that came out for basically free. I guess a grand total of 4 energy. I got all these on the board. Amazing card. If you're expecting U7, if you're expecting androids, it'll be even better next set because all the android support we're going to get, this is just going to be great. This was a weird tech. I threw in 1 Shrouded Fu. When I was playtesting the night before, some of the guys were playing Mono Blue Soul Striker, and I had a really hard time with that because they have Vegito, they have Bergamo sometimes. They have a lot of defense, and it was a super grindy match. There was really no reason for me to ever go into Demigra. I didn't want to throw my entire hand just killing a Vegito, so somebody mentioned to me taking one of these in just for that matchup, just in case. Never sided him in because I never played Mono Blue. There was one game I went against the Mono Blue Oob, but I had already kind of known what to do in that matchup, so I didn't go into Fu. He's not necessary. He could be in any one of these, actually. He could have been another Scientist Fu, but just in case. It was really good for grinding matchups. And then, of course, the yellow stuff. This got sided in almost every game. 2 Crusher Ball and 3 Batterings. You only run 4 yellow main deck, so you have a grand total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? And it's not a lot, but with the amount of card draw that Hercule gets, you can easily have a yellow in hand whenever you need to. That's the side. like I said, it was kind of catered more towards the U7 matchup, the mirror match. The battering lasers were absolutely necessary almost every game, especially if you're going in with Mira. They're always going to negate it. Always. If they have the energy open, they're going to negate it. So battering is like key for that matchup. But yeah, that's it. That's the main deck. That's the side deck.
Okay, Cairo. Congratulations on your top. Is there
Thank
anyone
you.
you'd like to make a shout out to?
Yeah, like I said earlier, Matthew Coombs, you know, I didn't know what to run. I got the list off of the Patreon. Really, you know, saved my butt there. Solid list. Huge shout out to him. Shout out to my team, the Wiseguys. Frankie Barr, Dan Brown, Cam Wood, Daniel, Danny Wynn, all those guys. I spent the last 2 weeks just chatting with them nonstop. What should I play? How do I play this matchup? I'm only in the development team. They still gave me all the support I needed when I was there, and I was winning more than I expected to win. They really gave me the encouragement I needed, because I started getting really bad nervousness. I was actually shaking because I didn't expect to be doing that well. And it was like a 12-hour long day, and I was running on like 5 hours of sleep. But they kept telling me, you got this, you got this. Hell, man, Frankie made some Facebook posts to ask people to send energy, you know, Goku style. So yeah, huge shout out to those guys. Garrison Bratton, Nick Greco, my old Pokemon buddies back in Dallas. They met up with me. Carlos got 6th place. You know, big shout out to that dude. I met up with them Friday night. I played at Epic, which is where we used to go to play Pokemon. And at the end of our little locals tournament that we had that night, he said that he wanted to go over side decks. He does this every time, and I highly recommend this for everybody. Take your side deck out. You bring out all of the leaders that you expect to see in the event. So we brought out Frieza, Hercule, you know, all the main leaders, and you just go over, this is what I side for this leader. This is what I side for that leader. This is what I take out for that leader. That right there is actually what really helped me more than anything, because I was not used to playing best of 3, and having to side out was the hardest thing for me. So that really helped me to be prepared. So big shout out to Carlos, to Sal, to all those guys over there at Epic who helped me that night. Yeah, shout out to all my local guys, you know, you, Brian, everybody who was here playing in the background, Game Vault, best store in El Paso, for letting us play, for having you guys here to play test with, for everybody helping me and putting up with my scrub abilities, you know. Yeah, really appreciate all the help from everybody. But yeah, I got my invite. I don't have it with me right now because it's on my fridge behind some magnets. I was too excited to take it out. So yeah, hope to go to Nats, not sure. Having a baby soon, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Congratulations once again, and good luck at Nats if you do decide to go.
Thank you, appreciate it.